the majors have to be about. I mean, they're traditional companies with a lot of history, and they're just. That's why they're kind of immovable feasts in some ways, because there's all that kind of history there. And that's why all their contracts are 50 pages long, because that's history. But then it's the smaller labels or smaller companies that can kind of move and adapt with what's going on as well. They can sort of reinvent themselves or take on sort of all sorts of ways, different working practices, whereas the majors kind of can't really so much. The other thing is that I think from what people tell me that I think there's a lot less kind of sharks around in the industry these days, because there's not that money to just be sort of made to exploit in the same sort of way. So it's a much more kind of somehow sociable and friendly industry, I think, in many ways, because it isn't that lucrative unless you really kind of work hard or really even display your sort of passion for it. It somehow seems that passion is more a virtue than perhaps it was 10, 20 years ago. In the dance genre, maybe, but I mean, that's tough. Running a dance label is really tough at the moment. I mean, again, just on those specialist shops, a lot of those have gone, and smaller outlets, and you can get lost in the sea of those releases, whether it's in a shop or on Beatport or wherever it is. It's tough, whatever, but it's all about making the most of who you are, and making sure your identity is known.
So it's 2015. What's Hungry All What's happened?
I think we probably would have bought EMI by then, hopefully. And, I don't know. I mean, it's who knows what the industry is going to be like. But I mean, hopefully we'll be still there, and hopefully twice as big, and with more acts, and just continuing to make music happen and get music out there. But, I don't really know, and nobody really knows what the kind of currency of music is going to be at that time. Whether it's going to be just streaming services, or a lot of it rests on whether those streaming services become things that actually can make money for record companies to survive on releasing product and make sense for them. And hopefully they will. At the moment, who knows? But we'll be there. It's doing something or other.
Has the internet helped you? Has it created a more level playing field in terms of marketing promotion? When you started in 2004, when it was kind of the wave really surfaced.
Yeah, I mean, MySpace happened just after we started, and that was kind of useful. But in many ways, I mean, if this would have been 20 years ago, we would have sold a lot more records. But the sort of profile that we get in just print press and radio, we'd have made some money.
I think we were great, man. I had a dance label in the late 80s, early 90s, when it was a license, didn't money. You pressed up so many thousand foreign
Yeah.
There wasn't piracy, so you might have pressing part, you might have pressed up thousands of central sales.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah. But there wasn't the piracy, there wasn't that kind of competition with the net. And I think now, would I do the same thing again? Absolutely not, because I just think I'd be in a hurry. Piracy will be, they're not these guys. I think that's a bigger. Let's take a short call and be honest. Okay, how many people bulk share and download music without paying for it? Okay. Let the record show that's probably 99.9%.
Yeah, I think we knew that. I think everyone knows that. But I mean, the other question is, does that actually take away from sales that would have happened or not? There's always been a form of piracy, whether it's been making cassettes or making mixtapes, or it's just whether that actually means that nothing's bought. I mean, it's all about making this. I mean, that's why Spotify kind of works, because it's a service that's kind of worth using instead of downloading potentially sort of dodgy files on your Apple or whatever. But then you've got to make it a value proposition that actually makes sense for the record company. So it's a very kind of tricky time to do it. But there's this digital bill going through, at the moment. Have you talked about that at all?
We've touched on it, yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, in many ways, you think, well, great, the government are doing something to tackle piracy, and maybe it will. There are examples around Europe where it's worked in terms of raising the revenue.
Well, it's really bankrupt. It's virtually bankrupt in the music industry in Spain, where piracy is at such a level where no one's buying music.
Yeah, absolutely. But
bear in mind, this Motley Crue here is that they're downloading illegal music for file share. I mean, what?
Well, so have I.
Yeah. You're Prime Minister.
I buy stuff as well, but it's just for me. It's just about. Well, yeah. No, I don't. Just see if it's there. I don't do it a lot. To be honest, I don't normally do it if it's just something I need for playing on the radio or something. I don't tend to do it that often, especially now. There's other things to use like Spotify and stuff. But
you're Prime Minister. How are you going to stop this proliferation of music down there?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? And I think what people are worried about is what the fallout would be from this sort of 3 strikes and out kind of thing, whether it suddenly means that ISPs get aggressive with things like suddenly not offering free Wi-Fi anymore, or there's a whole game that's going to be played, and who knows how that will play out really, so I don't know the answer.
But you're not bothered by it as a Labour boss, whatever.
What, in terms of the digital bill?
In terms of legal downloading and file sharing. Doesn't concern you?
No, it does concern me, but I just don't know what to do about it. I just don't really know how you can. It feels a bit like there's a whole history of mismanagement of the whole issue, particularly with the major companies. As soon as the whole digital, since Napster really first began, and the way that Steve Jobs was allowed to basically control the digital market with iTunes and set his own prices, and there's a whole history of sort of just mismanagement really. So, and now we're in this place, and they're basically talking about kind of shutting the barn door after the horse is bolted, aren't they? Which is a bit of a strange situation. But on the positive side, at least they're trying to do something about it, and maybe there are examples around Europe where doing that has then increased music sales. So that can't be a bad thing. But if it's available to get, you're going to do it. If you can get stuff, then you're going to do it. People always have. So.
Do you sell on iTunes?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have. Everything's on iTunes. But as I said, iTunes sales have dropped since Spotify's been launched. Yeah, and I think they have for everybody. I've talked to the labels and stuff. But it's all on there, and of course it's all on there worldwide as well, which is useful.
It's all on.
It's on there for the whole world, not just for the UK. That's pretty easy to arrange. But pretty much, even if just as a band, you can, or you're just starting a small label, you can pretty much get someone to do to aggregate your music so that you can get on iTunes.
But last question from me. It's been really brilliant. I think you guys give me a real sort of insight into sort of how labels think today. There's a few musicians, I won't embarrass them, but there's a few musicians scattered around here. What would be the best advice you could give them in terms of getting ahead? They're either gigging, they're rehearsing, they're thinking about approaching labels, they want some recognition. You don't accept unsolicited demo tapes?
Not really. Well,
how are they going to get that?
Build a fan base. Build an audience. Bands can do that themselves. Decide. Get their songs sorted out. Get who they are sorted out. Get a mailing list together. Make sure they get hold of people's email addresses at every gig. Just really sort of fundamental things like that. Just build up a fan base. Build up a following, and then because those things are looked at. Whoever you are, whether it's a label or a music placement service or anybody, web stats are sort of starting to get looked at. So it's all about just building an audience, building some interest.
So you're interested in how many friends they've got on the MySpace?
Well, I'm not personally, but it's just if it becomes obvious that there's something going on, if it's looking busy on there, not just MySpace, but just some kind of some interest that people going to the gigs, actually people just turning up and